U.S. President Joe Biden has again said the United States will defend Taiwan in the event of an attack by China. In an interview with U.S. television network, Biden was asked if U.S. troops will defend the island. His response was a categorical yes. The remarks prompted the White House to clarify that the official U.S. policy, which doesn't commit to military action on Taiwan, saying that the policy hasn't changed. Beijing, meanwhile, has deplored and firmly opposed Biden's pledge of action. Chinese Foreign Ministry says it has lodged stern representations with Washington over the remarks. Taiwan is a self-ruled island off the coast of eastern China that Beijing claims as part of its territory. Washington has always walked a diplomatic tightrope over the issue. On the one hand, it adheres to the One China policy, a cornerstone of its relationship with Beijing. Under this policy, the U.S. acknowledges that there is only one Chinese government and has formal ties with Beijing rather than Taiwan. But it also maintains close relations with Taiwan and sells arms to it under the Taiwan Relations Act, which states that the U.S. must provide the island with the means to defend itself. Former U.S. Congressman John Leboutillier is joining us now for some insights on this. Were you surprised by these comments?
I was not, because this, I think, is the fourth time as president that President Biden has said the same thing. And each time he says, we're going to defend Taiwan. And then the White House staff afterwards goes out and tries to massage the answer and correct it a little bit. And I think this is what they call strategic ambiguity. They want to confuse people a little bit, especially in Beijing, but leave a little doubt that America might engage in a hot war against China over Taiwan. We hope that will deter communist China from attacking Taiwan.
And is this the most explicit that Joe Biden has said in terms of a statement of how he would defend Taiwan? You speak about the strategic ambiguity as well. I mean, one saw signs of that ahead of the Ukraine war. So is this almost like inching as close as possible while still saying you respect the One China policy?
Well, it's pretty much the same answer that he's given. I mean, he's done it repeatedly. He wants to be asked this so that he can say it this way to tell President Xi in pretty clear terms, the United States will defend Taiwan. We hope that will deter China from making a move on Taiwan. And, you know, it's a mixed bag here in the United States. Nobody wants their son or daughter to go to war over anything, but especially over Taiwan. But if you ask Americans, the number one enemy of this country is perceived to be communist China. And so we're in a situation that could quickly deteriorate into a hot war between the two.
I mean, he was asked during the interview that unlike Ukraine, would the U.S. defend Taiwan? And he said, yes, U.S. forces would defend Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion. And we've seen what has happened with Ukraine. Ukraine has consistently asked for militaristic support from the U.S., where the U.S. was very keen in the beginning to say, if you come under attack, we will defend you, and has walked back on it and said it is against NATO policy that it supply or that it intervene militarily. The best that they can do is to send weaponry.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You mentioned a minute ago the Taiwan Relations Act. If you call that up and read it, it is quite clear that the United States, which signed that act between us and Taipei, we are obligated to defend them if they are attacked. Plus, we have United States naval forces right now in Taiwan. So if communist China attacked Taiwan, it's almost inevitable that we would be somehow involved. Ukraine's different. Before Russia invaded, we got all our soldiers out of there. We have no treaty with Ukraine calling on us to defend them. They're not a member of NATO, where we if they were under Article 5, we would be obligated to defend them. Someday they may be a member of NATO, but they're not. And we, so far, as you say, have confined our activity to supplying a lot of arms, $60 billion worth of arms to the Ukrainian government and military. Taiwan, different. We have a treaty. It's a little more clear that we would defend them.
Okay. Now, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning says that Biden's comments have sent a seriously wrong signal to separatist forces for Taiwan independence. What do you read that to mean, especially given that China has said that it's strongly dissatisfied and resolutely opposed to Biden's comments and have actually lodged a formal complaint over it?
Well, and they have in the past been upset over this kind of thing. I mean, when Trump got elected president, the first phone call he received from an overseas leader and returned the call was the then president of Taiwan. And communist China went nuts over that because we're not supposed to have relations with them, although we can talk to them and we do go there. As you know, the Speaker of the House just was there 2 months ago, and a Senate and House delegation was there 3 weeks ago. And by the way, these visits to Taiwan and the new arms sales to Taiwan that were just announced, I think they very much have to do with deterring China from assisting Putin in Ukraine. We are saying to Xi, you mess around over there in Ukraine by helping Putin, we're going to help Taiwan even more. That's what's really been going on over the last several months.
In a phone call earlier on in the year, we had President Xi warning about Taiwan, saying to President Biden that those who play with fire will perish by it. So a very strong warning. What is it expected to precipitate?
I think Xi is 1 month away from a party Congress where he hopes to get another term as president. And so he is the one playing tough against America, obviously among the Communist Party and Communist China. That's a popular position to take. I don't think we're anywhere near any conflict between anybody over Taiwan. I think this is a ritual, a dance they go through. And I think as soon as he's reelected or chosen again for a 5-year term as president of China, I have a feeling this Taiwan thing will cool down. I also have a feeling that Xi is subtly getting away from Putin on Ukraine, just the way India is getting away from Putin on India. Everybody can smell a loser, and Russia is a loser in Ukraine. They're going to lose. They are losing. Their equipment is lousy, and our equipment is the best, and China can see that, and they don't want to risk getting on the wrong side of that fight.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. John Leboutillier is a former U.S. congressman speaking to us about the grandstanding, as he put it, between the U.S. and China over Taiwan.